So today we are flipping this slain cedar chest that I recently got. I really love the look of the vintage mid-century, so I just wanted to keep it a little bit classic. I started with sanding down the top all the way down to the bare wood because I do want to stain the top of this piece. It's in really good condition and I really want to see what the wood underneath the finish would look like. My daughter is filming me. She is amazing with filming and editing, and she just tells me what to do and she films it for me. Like I said, I took my 80 grit sandpaper that I in my orbital sander, and I'm just taking off the finish, and later on I will go up to 120 grit sandpaper just because the 80 is a little rough, so might have maybe scratched the surface a little bit. And after I use the 120, I go up to 220 and then 320 just to smooth everything. So now we are taking off the handles. The handles are in great shape, and I really didn't want to change it just because it would be a little bit harder to find something vertical to place on there. But like I said, the handles are in really great condition. They just need a little cleaned up just a little bit, and I will be spray painting them. And she wanted me to take a video of her taking off the handles. She's 11 and she is learning all the ins and outs of flipping furniture. I recently quit my job to stay home with my kids and take my furniture flipping full-time. One of the reasons is since the pandemic, my husband has been working from home, and now that he has to go back to the office, we had contemplated whether, putting the kids in daycare or me staying home would be beneficial, both financially and just, mentally. I think it's a good decision that I made. I don't regret it at all, and I get to be with my kids all the time, and I know where they are all the time. So this just works for us. Now I'm cleaning the sides of the pieces. I'm just using Krud Kutter. I think Krud Kutter works the best, and I keep their old clothes, the ones that I really can't donate, and I use them for cleaning. And I will wash them if they get pretty bad, so I'm not just going through clothes after clothes. And I did clean the top of the piece before I sanded it. I did not put that in the video, but just know that you must always clean your pieces before you paint it, just to get rid of any dirt, grime, any waxes that's been on there. So, but like I said, Krud Kutter I think works the best. It really gets it cleaned really well. After I cleaned everything, I'm gonna go ahead and fill in any missing veneer. This is just the putty that dries pretty hard, something that you can paint, something that you can stain. I get this from Lowe's, and I do use a paint scraper or acrylic paint spatula, just because I get more of handle or more control with a smaller spatula. And I am now spray painting the handles. I did clean the handles already, and I'm just using the Rustoleum metallic spray paint. I believe it is the iron bronze. I'm now staining the top with a oil-based stain. It is Varathane walnut. This is the fast drying one. However, after it had dried, I didn't really like how it wasn't very even of an stain after it dried. So I did end up letting it dry for a day, and then I added on top of it Varathane's gel stain in Kona, so a little bit darker, but it did even everything out once I applied that. But you do have to wait at least 24 hours to make sure that your stain is really dry before you add another coat on top, or if you decide to go with a gel stain, just because you don't want it to take off whatever stain you have already put on there. And I'm just applying this with my Bounty paper towels. It doesn't shed on me, and it's easier because I can just throw it away when I'm done with it, and it's fairly cheap to use that. And I'm getting all on the sides, as you can kind of tell right on top there. And I was able to tell more once it dried that the stain just wasn't even. I could have added a coat of the Minwax pre-stain conditioner. I don't normally add that, but you know, these are vintage pieces, old pieces, and sometimes what you think is just not gonna happen and what you expect, but that's okay. You just pivot and you do something else. So after applying the coat of gel stain Varathane in Kona, it pretty much it evened out the stain. What you can see here, I applied a coat of bin shellac in the red can. I just used my roller, and that's the fastest way for me to apply that. And I didn't have any bleed throughs. This is a blonde wood or blonde dresser, so I didn't have any bleed through at all, so I didn't have to apply another coat. Right now I am using Fusion Mineral Paint in raw silk. I had a little bit of leftover from a previous project, and I just thought that the dark stain and the clean cream body would look so beautiful in a room, in any room, whether it be a mud room, bedroom, like an entryway. And I really do love this color. It's one of my go-to colors. I'm not a big fan of a stark white finish. I like a softer off-white or cream color. I found it a little bit challenging to paint in between those grooves, but it was really hot out, so my paint was drying pretty fast, so I focused on putting the paint inside the grooves first, and then I went ahead and evened out my paint on the little panels. And you don't want to overwork this paint too much. It's self-leveling, so it'll do the work for you, but I just wanted to make sure that I got it pretty good on that. But like I said, it was hot out and the paint was drying super fast, so I had to work fast. So this is just my first coat, and you see how well it already covers it. I really like this paint because the coverage is great, it's affordable, and they have a lot of different colors to choose from. And again, this is Fusion in raw silk. And I also like that it has a built-in top coat. After 30 days of curing, it dries really hard, scratch resistant, and you can really wipe it. If you spill anything on it or anything, you can wipe it off. So I'm really glad that I started using this paint. But I use all different types of paint brands. Another thing about Fusion that I like is it doesn't stink. Especially if you use latex paint, that smell just lingers, and it gives me a headache after a while. So I really like Fusion, and the color selection is great. And I'm just working my way across, taking my time, but like I said, it was super hot, so it's drying really, really fast. So I am using my Klingon paintbrush to apply my paint. This is the F40, I believe. I love this paintbrush because it holds a lot of paint, and I've painted close to maybe 60 pieces of furniture just with this one paintbrush. I take care of my paintbrushes, and I make sure that I clean them when I'm done with it. You can store it in a Ziploc bag if you have to do a second coat, but once I know I'm done painting that piece, or I need to go obviously with a different color, I clean it thoroughly. It takes me about 5 minutes, and so I know that it's not going to get ruin or get hard, and it's ready for my next paint project. And I did apply a second coat of paint on this once it dried. I maybe gave it about 6 hours. You can wait the 24 hours, but like I said, it was super hot out, so it dried pretty fast. Another thing that I didn't show on the video was I went ahead and sealed the top of my cedar chest with a wipe-on poly. I did about 3 coats of the wipe-on poly just to protect it really well. And I always stage my pieces when I'm done with them. If that's something that you guys would want to see me staging my furniture to sell, let me know and I'll do that for you guys. Staging your pieces just makes it look a little bit better, and instead of taking a picture of it in your garage, you know, you want to sell them the piece and what it could look like in their house. And I don't have a lot of room in my house, so I created a fake staging wall with old book pages, and I take a couple of pictures. I try to make it simple, nothing too fancy, but here's the finished product, and I hope you guys like it, and I'll be making more videos like this. This is my first video, so thank you for watching. Have a great day.